Let me tell you a story about Uncle Jeff. Uncle Jeff was my trainer as far as trucking goes. Um, of course, I went to trucking school and everything. Um, and um, I got a job immediately at this place called Carolina Cargo. Met at the yard, went through orientation process and all of that. And then at the end of it all, like a 2, 3 day process, they put you in a hotel room and everything. You sit in the classroom, learn about the company and how they trucks work, how they do things, and all of that. This is anybody. Even if you're an experienced driver, you have to go through the orientation. It's a job. Um, so they're like, if you're new, just go out there in the yard and just catch one of the drivers, loading up their truck. They just kind of have like a loose process. Well, actually, everybody does. Some people have a psychological test and they match you up that way with a computer, which is so inorganic. But anyway, um, so I go out there and I see, I'm parked. I'm walking around in the parking lot, and then, you know, just there's this bat out of hell driver that comes in and fucking Dukes a Hazard, which is going to be like the theme of this of the Uncle Jeff Chronicles. Dukes Hazard, the fucking truck like trailing all of that shit. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but that's how it kind of came in, and it's in a gravel lot, dust all over the place in the ceiling, and he just pokes his head out the window like, "Hey, who wants to go to California?" And he's a California guy. Jeff is shit. He was old enough. He was like 65 then. Hell, that was 7 years ago. Um, California, served in Vietnam, surfboard, racist than a motherfucker though. It was all right. I mean, his son was a neo-Nazi skinhead, but me and that motherfucker got along because it was like George Jefferson and Archie Bunker. I'll just say that. You know what I mean? But so we fuck around and we get in the truck. I get in the truck with him and shit, riding down the road. We get about 30, 40 fucking miles down the road in South Carolina on 20. And, I'm all excited and shit like a puppy dog first time really inside a big rig and shit. And I'm in the passenger seat. And then I'm looking out the window and shit. And all of a sudden, I hear, brrr, we riding over the rumble strips and shit. I look over, this motherfucker sleep slumped on the steering wheel. He using the steering wheel as a pillow. And we going about 65, 70 miles an hour down the fucking highway. I done grabbed the steering wheel and pulled the shit back on the road. Like, Jeff, what the fuck? He woke up. He was like, huh? Oh, shit. I said, man, I pull over. He said, well, we're just, I was like, yo, pull over. I'll drive. And, it was like, all right, shit, best way to learn how to swim is just jump out in the deep end of the lake, I guess. So, I hop in the driver's seat. This is my first time existing in the clock. I got to, set my name up in the clock and everything. And if you know anything about trucks, you know what I mean by the clock. And so, the ELD. And so, I get down the road. I get to, I think it's Grovetown, Georgia, on 20. And that's where their way station is at. I think that's the one when you cross it into South Carolina, right there in the Georgia. About 20 miles in. Like I said, it's my first time at the way station. I pull on that motherfucking scale, and there's a line there, and I see, the guys pulling off and shit. And so I get there, and the light turns green, and I'm like, all of the horror stories and shit I done heard, man, I'm thinking I got to wait for somebody to give me permission to leave. So a DOT officer pulls up in the Jeep, like, driver, why the hell are you sitting on my scale? Because I've been sitting there for a while. I've sat there so long that I've caused the line to back all the way up to the highway. You know what I'm saying? They having to stop in the first fucking lane on the highway to try to work their way in here, all because of me. I was like, I thought somebody had to tell me to get off the scale. Wait, I'm telling you to get off the scale. Meet me around the back at the inspection area. So go around there back to the inspection area and shit. Well, let me see your clock. You know what I'm saying? So gave him the info on the clock, and he like, yo, what the fuck? I'm like, yo, it's my first night driving. He was like, do you have a trainer in here? I said, yeah. He's in the back. We just switched off for a little bit, and I think he's back there just like, getting himself together or whatever. I was lying like a motherfucker. Jeff been asleep for the past couple of hours, but I know how to deal with the police. You know what I'm saying? I know, shit. But anyway, so my dad drove trucks too, so I'm familiar with trucks. But this is the first time I'm actually having to do it by myself. And so Jeff back there, motherfucker, knocked the fuck out. So he's like, get him up. I poke my head back there. I say, hey Jeff, man, we getting inspected. He jumps up. He's like, what? Like, oh shit! And he pulls out the drawer and shit, and there's a little table on the drawer. The motherfucker start dumping out white powder and little lines and shit. Like, man, help me get rid of this. I'm like, help you get rid of this. He throw his head on that motherfucker and doing lines straight off the table. Like, man, help me get rid of it. I was like, what the fuck? And so the DLT officer like, is there a problem, sir? And I slammed the curtain shut real quick. I was like, yeah. I said I called him in the middle of talking to his wife, so he needs a little bit of time to get together. And so, Jeff is just snorting that shit all the way up. And so I guess he just kills it all. And, he pokes his head out and shit. And I'm just like, yo, to make sure, like, I do one of these, just like tell him just to make sure his shit clean. He pokes his head out. And I go ahead and run interference and hop out with the officer. And then Jeff is like, yeah, I'm just trainer. As he said, I was on the phone with my wife. And he showed him his side of the clock. But since I'm the one driving, I am, taking the brunt of everything that's going on. Jeff just had to sign like a little form and shit. I go around to the back and shit, that motherfucker, a DOT officer and shit. And he like, driver, break that seal for me. He look at the seal and shit. He don't know what the fuck going on. He just know I'm acting suspicious. And so he about to, like, he trying to break the seal and shit. I hop in front of him like, hell no, like, cause I've been hearing, and driving, like, don't ever, there's under no circumstances is anybody supposed to break the seal other than the receiver. That's it. Shippers and the receivers are the only two people that can break the seal. Or me, like, when I get there or whatever, with their permission. So I'm like, oh, no, hell no. Like, no, like, this is what they told me in school. I'm not supposed to let anybody break the seal unless it's the warehouse. You know what I'm saying? And the DOT officer couldn't help but laugh. He said, you know what? You are new. All of this time, I thought you was bullshitting me. And so I'm sitting there, and I called my office why he's sitting there. I said, look, hey, I'm here with a DOT officer, and he's telling me to break the seal, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. It was like, Frederick, he can break the seal. I said, y'all didn't say that in class. I said, y'all said only the receiver or whatever, and then she started giggling or whatever. She was like, yes, he can break the seal. And so I looked at him, and I said, they said it's okay for you to break the seal. And the officer just laughing his ass off at this point. He's just like, bro, like, dude, you know what? I'm going to pass you and I'm just going to pass you just for the fuck of it. Because this is like, you making my night right now. And so he walks me through everything. He let me walk up under the truck with him because, like, there's this little, like, step. You can walk up under the shit and walk up under the truck and look up and all of that shit. He walked me through the whole shibiggity bang, checking the brakes and everything. And he's like, all right, this is what you're looking for when you do this. And this is what you're looking for when you do that. And this is what well, I ain't going to get you for that, but them glad hands need to be changed. But you know what I'm saying? You probably just got this truck. You don't know what to look for yet. But like I said, I'm passing you on a level because the levels work. Level 1 is the highest level you can get. That's when they piss testing your ass and blood test and all of that right there, along with everything else in the inspection. The inspection is the thorough inspection of the vehicle. That's level 2. Level 3 is like bullshit, like, hey, just beep your horn, make sure both your lights work, and I'm going to just look at, just give you an overhead, like, okay, you ain't got no busted windshield and shit, get the fuck out of my face. That's a level 3. Even though it sounds like it should go up as levels, but it's actually the other way around. And so I'm getting a level 2. And that's an automatic $150 bonus for both drivers. So I called them like, well, I just passed my first inspection, like fucking 2 hours of driving. It was like, well, damn, you getting your first bonus on your first check. Because that makes them look good. Because every report has to go to the CSA score and the DOT and the national database and everything for like how your license is and all of that. And so, that was a check mark. And this is day 1 with Uncle Jeff. And I spent about 6 months with this man. So I got a whole bunch of shit to talk about. And I ain't gonna lie, he made me the trucker that I am. Like, this ain't just a job, this is a way of life. And he said, you a truck driver or you a trucker? I'm like, what's the difference? And he explained it to me. He said, truck drivers, they drive a truck. This is a job. It's just something that they do. You're a trucker, you live on the road. You adjust your life around it. This is your way of life. And it's like, this is what you do. And you just, you make money in between as a side effect. And if you love what you do, making money is just a byproduct. And it's not even about the money at certain points. And it's about that adventure of the road. And I didn't exactly understand that shit then. I know it now. That was 7 years ago. I'm a whole different person now as far as driving. And I got that man to thank for that. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, that's just part one of the Uncle Jeff Chronicles.